I've generated over $3.3 million just using Instagram. And the craziest part about it is I did this with a profile that only has 3,400 followers. I've virtually spent no money on ads. And if you don't believe me, here's some proof on the screen. Alternatively, you can just head over to my profile at Mehdi Millions and see the results in my story highlights for yourself. So in this video, I want to break down 5 core traffic strategies that I personally use that has allowed me to do this with such a small following and so predictably and consistently. Below this video, I'm also going to link a Miro workflow so that you can pretty much copy, paste, and start to use it for yourself. And by the way, this is a paid training for my school community that I've pretty much ripped out and given to you guys for free. So for more value like this, don't forget to subscribe. And more importantly, let's get into it. Okay, inside of today's training, I want to talk to you guys about the overall goal with your profile. Because some of you guys that are new to this, SLM content mastery training platform are going to want to know some of the key and most essential ways to use your profile to generate traffic and know what to do with that traffic. Because some of the biggest mistakes that I've sat down with countless people creating content and reviewed is the fact that they will worry about posting a ton of content first, hoping to generate a ton of traffic, and then their only solution to try and convert that traffic into paid clients is by sending them to a link in their bio, hoping that they click something and then purchase. And that is completely wrong, right? Because here's the thing, you're doing it the wrong way around, right? You're focusing on getting visitors and then you're trying to figure out how to convert the visitors at a later stage, right? Don't take it from me. I know we've done it the opposite way around, but if you look at some of the most successful businesses in the world, right? Look at the Apple Store. Every time a brand new iPhone launches, what do? Right? They get the store ready, they stack up the iPads or the new iPhones or the new MacBooks that they're launching. They man the stations with the Apple geniuses, right? The sales reps. And then they focus on the big launch, the big promotion. And all the conversion systems are ready to go. So by the time that a bunch of people line up outside, they're pretty much cashing out the minute people step through the door, right? Because they got the conversion process figured out way before they get traffic. And a lot of you guys are going against the grain and doing it completely wrong. So in this video, I've got a Miro chart to show you the 4 to 5 essential components as to how you're going to use your Instagram profile to funnel traffic in and actually convert it, right? And once you watch the end of this video, it's going to make the rest of the training platform make so much more sense because we go in depth into every single one of these components that I'm breaking down right here to show you the best way to use them and apply them to your business. Now, the last thing that I want to say is this. I'll give you another example. Look at McDonald's, right? Before there's like the lunchtime rush, right? There's a bunch of cars there. They've got everything strategically set up from the order place where you go in the little drive-through station, you place your order, then the next place where you pretty much go and pay, and the next place where you go collect your food. So they've got the conversion system set up before the traffic comes in, and that's what you want to understand, right? And this is literally everything that we've used to generate well over $3.3 million online. And we're going to work backwards to show you how this process works, right? Now, before we work backwards, let's go to the very front. So the main thing that you want to understand, and I've used my Instagram profile here as an example, because I've generated over $3.3 million online with only 3,400 followers. And that's up until recent times. Followers were a lot less before that, right? So what you must understand is you want to shift your perspective, right? And look at your profile for what it is. Your profile is a traffic hub, which consists of 5 main traffic strategies. The link in your bio. The second one is your reels / your content. The third one is active DM traffic, my personal favorite, so make sure you watch until the end. Number 4 is new followers / inbound traffic. And then number 5, finally, stories, right? And I've actually pulled up some statistics here, right? So if we look at the link in your bio, it only really makes up 5% of your traffic, right? And the thing that you want to avoid, right? Again, we're going to go into this in the later modules, but I want to give you an overview so you understand the end outcome, right? And what you want everything to look like once you finish this training platform, right? The link in your bio only makes up 5% of your traffic, right? And one thing I've noticed a lot of people doing is they will take 10 different offers and put them into the link in their bios and hope that they get a ton of conversion. This is completely wrong, right? Because the whole purpose of a funnel, right? Like if you look at a diagram of a funnel, it goes from wide to narrow, right? So the whole purpose is to take a bunch of people that are visiting your profile and narrow down the decision-making process to make it as easy, seamless, and as least overwhelming as possible for them to buy your offer, right? And by having like 10 to 15 different offers in your bio, you do the exact opposite of that, right? So the link in my bio, I like to use Linktree, right? Again, you got a link to Linktree below this video, so you can pretty much sign up for free, set it up. And that Linktree breaks down who my audience is, right? People that want to scale their businesses to $50,000 to $100,000 a month, and creates an option where they can pretty much go over to the pre-core VSL, right? So a VSL, which again, we have a training inside of the program, which will show you how to create the perfect VSL, right? So they can learn who I am, what problem I can help them solve. They can learn more about my offer and pretty much book in a call to inquire about my services and become a paid client. And it should be nothing more than that, right? In some cases, and again, we'll show you this in a later training, we'll show you how to use lead magnets, but putting them in the link in your bio and expecting people to just click on your stuff and, you know, buy isn't a very great strategy, right? So if you're going to put something in the link in your bio, keep it as linear as possible. You don't want to add 10 different things. You want to keep it simple, one simple video that positions you, your offer, how you can help your target audience and fix their problems so they can jump on a Zoom call and essentially buy your stuff, right? So that's the first traffic strategy that we're going to be walking you through throughout the rest of the training program, right? The second one, and this is my personal favorite, is active DM traffic, right? And this is going out there and building active traffic in your business, stuff that you can predictably control, right? Because think about it like this, and I've used this example countless times, but if you and I were to open up a restaurant today, right, and we have the best steak in the world, world-class steak, A5, Wagyu steak, nothing like you've ever seen. Salt Bay ain't got shit on us, right? That's how good it is. Now, the steak is so good, but the problem is no one's ever heard of us. It could be you. It could be similar to your current situation with your offer, right? You got a great offer, deep down, you know it's good, but no one's heard of you, right? Now you can go out there into the busy streets of wherever you live, let's say it's New York, and put flyers on the wall, hoping that people show up. But what's the likelihood that you're actually gonna get clients? What's the likelihood that they're gonna walk past these flyers and say, do you know what? This is what I'm looking for. Let me go check this restaurant out. Versus if you were to go out there into the streets of New York, outside of other steak restaurants, and hand out samples of your best-selling steak, right? And greet someone like John and be like, John, you like steak? He's like, hell yeah, of course I like steak. You give him a sample and he's like, you know what, this is delicious, right? Best steak I've ever had. And then you invite him down to your store, okay? How much more clients would you get using that strategy? A lot more, right? And that is active traffic. You're doing the same thing essentially, but with your digital products, right? You're reaching out to people in areas where you know, right? Like outside of steak restaurants, but like the digital version of that. Obviously not selling steak, but for your digital marketing offers, where you know there's going to be people that have a need and desire for your product. You know there are people that have certain problems and challenges that you can solve with your offers, and you're connecting with them, giving them free value, building a relationship with them, i.e. your free sample of steak, and then you're inviting them down to check out your stuff, right? And using active traffic, we've literally generated over $3.2 million online and no money spent on ads, right? That's how powerful it is. So this is the main one that we're going to be stressing out in, combination with having good content as well, which I'm going to get into in just a sec. But this is why I like this, right? So I'll give you an example of what this kind of looks like and how you're going to set it up. But remember, your profile needs to be branded, which again, we're going to show you in the lessons below how to perfectly do. But your profile needs to be branded correctly for you to get a good response rate. So let's say, for example, and I've checked these statistics on my account specifically and a ton of my clients' accounts as well. Let's say on average, you know where to find people that might be interested in your products and services. And you send out 30 DMs daily and you get an average of 10 responses, right? Out of those 10 responses, you build 5 to 7 quality relationships per day where you've given a ton of value and now you've offered the chance to meet up with you over a quick call, a free audit call, a free session where you're going to be breaking down X, Y, and Z value, and you're going to be offering your program, right? Your goal is to essentially get 5 booked calls daily using Calendly. Again, in the later lessons, we'll show you how to set up Calendly, optimize it, all that good stuff. And once these people are booked in, they now get a chance to watch your video, which hits the nail on their head, right? In terms of their problems, in terms of their challenges, in terms of all the pain that they're experiencing. And you demonstrate to them more value, how you can help them, and more importantly, what they're going to be walking away with by the end of a conversation with someone like yourself, right? So that's what we like to call the pre-call VSL. And again, in later lessons, you're going to learn step by step, slide by slide, how to create the most high converting VSL, right? If there's one thing I attest to us generating over $50,000 to $100,000 every single month, it's having this one VSL, right? And you now have those people, right? 5 book calls daily for 20 days. Let's say you take off 10 days in a month. That's 100 people per month, right? And let's say you only convert 10% of those people, meaning 90% of all those people said no, right? That leaves you with 10 closed clients, right? And if your offer is $500, then that's $5,000 additional every single month, minimum, right? And if your offer is $1,000, then that's $10,000 consistently every single month, right? And that adds a layer of predictability to your business that you wouldn't have if you just posted content alone, right? Because let me ask you a question. Does posting content work? 100%, right? Does sending people to a link in your bio work? 100%. The reason we know this stuff is because there's other people in the same marketplace as us having tons of success with these different things, right? But what you want is you want a method that's going to work for you and work for you predictably, which is why we use the most active and the most controllable thing. And that's what's led to all the results that you see on screen here, right? It's that predictability factor. But when you combine all of the methods that I'm sharing with you, that's when you generate multiple streams of income from one Instagram account, right? But you have to have clarity in what you're doing and how you're dividing up your time and attention. Don't focus too much on the link in the bio. Focus more time and attention on the active DM traffic, right? So next up, we have the content, right? Now content approximately makes up 30% of your traffic. And remember, as you post more consistently, right, these percentages can change. But I'm giving you a general rule of thumb to start with so that you can start to build momentum a lot more effectively. Because I'll give you a perfect example, right? The more you focus on an active traffic strategy to generate sales, the more clients you now have, the more clients that you can now work with to help them get results for whatever your offer is, meaning you can collect more social proof, right? Now imagine posting that content, that new batch of content that you create, but this time with social proof, this time with results, this time with, case studies or success stories. How much more effective would that content be? How much better would it perform? A lot better, right? So you always want to prioritize the thing that can get you results now to help have a knock-on effect to all the other traffic sources that you're using, right? So taking a look at your content, right? When I see most people post content, and I'm actively, on Instagram, I have people that I personally work with that I've hired specifically for the purpose to go out there and research content and what's working and what's not. And I can tell you after reviewing 1,200 pieces of content, there is 2 things that you want to avoid, right? Number 1 is creating content for the sake of it. There are so many people that I personally sat down with, had a conversation with, and I asked them, well, why did you post these last 7 pieces of content? They said, well, you have to post 1 piece of content a day to grow. I said, that's like saying I need to go to the gym once a day to grow, but you did no workouts, right? Or you didn't do the correct exercises. Showing up daily doesn't necessarily mean that you deserve to have success, right? Showing up daily and putting in the required effort is what leads to success, right? So number 1, don't post content for the sake of it. And number 2, do not create content where you're pitching your marketplace every single day and spamming them about how great your offer is and how good the benefits of your offer is, right? I'll give you one example, right? Recently, I've worked with a lot of clients that were promoting this program called DWA, Digital Wealth Academy, I believe, right? And there are so many people that say, hey, my program is amazing. You get 100% profits with it. Check it out the link in my bio. And they virtually get 0 conversions. And they'll do the same cycle over and over and over again, right? That is the wrong approach, because what you're doing is you're building distrust with your marketplace. You're building distrust with your audience. That thing that you guys call the algorithm is a synonym for your audience, right? If your audience watches your content and saves your content and shares your content, Instagram's gonna push it out because Instagram can see that people enjoy your stuff, right? If people scroll past it, Instagram realizes, aka the algorithm, that people don't really like your stuff. And the reason that they're not gonna like your stuff is because all they can see is that you want money out of them, right? And you're approaching it the wrong way. So there's 3 goals that you wanna understand from your content. The first one is to gain followers, right? And I'll show you exactly how to do that. Well, in a later lesson, we'll show you how to create valuable content so that when people look at your content, they say, do you know what? This is very valuable. I can see myself following this person and returning for more valuable stuff just like this. Second one is to gain email subscribers, which again, we'll cover in a later on lesson how to do. And the third one is to funnel people into your DMs, right? You should aim to pitch as often as possible in the DMs, but virtually never on your main profile. This is a golden rule that I learned from Alex Hormozi and my good friend Devin Jatho that has transformed my Instagram, right? So in this example, right, I've taken one of the videos where I pretty much just explained how regular sales scripts are horrible, and I broke down why they don't work, and alternatively a ChatGPT prompt that you can use to create a sales script under 60 seconds, right? And after demonstrating it, I said, look, if you want the prompt, it's too long for me to explain in this video, comment close, and I'll send it over to you, right? So we see a bunch of people that commented close, right? Now, again, in a later lesson, we'll break down how to do this as in depth as possible. You'll see that there was an automated message that pretty much went out saying, hey, would you like access to the $1 million killer sales script? The person replied yes. They sent their email. That's a new subscriber that I have added to my email list. Plus, they've now got one of my lead magnets where once they go through the lead magnet and use it, it gives them an opportunity to book a call, showing that if they like the value that I provide, they can now learn more by actually having the opportunity to sit down and speak with me one-on-one, right? So, you know, ManyChat is a great automation. We have all the automations pretty much pre-built for you guys so that you guys don't have to worry about the complicated tech stuff, right? So the ManyChat flow pretty much collects all the emails on my email list, which grows your list. Again, very good thing to do. And once the people go through the lead magnet, they get funneled to the pre-call VSL, where they can pretty much book in a call, you know, have a Zoom session with you and become paid clients. So as you can see, it all funnels right back to the same conversion process. And because the conversion process has been built so well, it becomes seamless to now get conversions, right? Meaning you can start to add multiple sources of traffic because you know the conversion system works so well. Now you can kind of switch your brain, not switch your brain off, but essentially start to get traffic with peace of mind, knowing that when you do, you're gonna convert, right? And number 4, right, the next one is your Instagram stories. And again, this is something that I've seen done wrong way too many times. So I want to share this with you from the very beginning. So you're going through the training program, you have a very clear understanding of how to use your Instagram stories. And again, like we have an entire lesson dedicated to this in more detail, but I'll quickly run you through it. So as far as Instagram stories go, this will make up 10% of your traffic. Now, personally, I like to use Instagram as more of a follow-up tool, right? Because I know, well, I'm having a DM conversation with someone, so chances are they're probably looking at my Instagram story. I could use it as a follow-up tool, right? Someone that watches my content might also watch my Instagram stories. So it serves as an extra layer to really help me build another connection point with someone, right? So quite often, I like to do polls, right? Because one thing I see so many people do wrong especially when creating content, is they will go out there, put a link in their bio, start recording a video, speaking to the camera, or just try and sell completely on their stories. And that's completely wrong, because it defies the number one rule of business, which is create demand before you supply, right? So what I've done is I've gone out there and I started using polls. And the reason that the polls work so well is because I can go out there and say, look, I'm looking to work with 3 people who want to work together one-on-one to learn X, Y, and Z skill to grow their business, right? I'm interested, tell me more, right? A very important lesson I learned when I was sitting down with one of my good friends, one of my good clients, funny enough. And he taught me this, and he explained to me that, look, people are lazy, right? So if you tell them, look, click on this link, they're very busy, right? They're scrolling, they're seeing like 100 stories every single minute, and they're never gonna click the link, right? It's a very, very small percentage of people that will click the link, right? But the one thing that they're almost definitely gonna do on your stories, they're gonna tap. So how can you create a call to action that's as least resistant as possible? Have a poll, because they're gonna click on your story anyways, right? So if they notice that your call to action has low effort as possible, then it makes your life a lot easier, right? And once he shared this with me, I started testing polls out a lot more, and I started getting so many more conversions just using Instagram stories. And again, we've got a framework for how to sell using Instagram stories, which is broken down in the lesson below. But I like to do polls. Essentially, the people that reply from the polls, I can funnel them into the DMs by literally tapping this reply button, and then start building a conversation with them in the DMs, start building a relationship with them, and then funneling them over to a booked call, right? Essentially taking them back to the same system that works exceptionally well, right? The system that's gonna allow you, and has allowed us, to predictably generate cash flow inside of our business, right? So once you got that nailed, and by the way, we have a script for this below, right, inside of the training platform. The last component, right, is pretty much going out there and new followers. And this makes up maybe 5% of your traffic. Again, it's a general rule of thumb, right? This could increase and vary as time goes on, as you create killer content by implementing the trainings below. But as you get new followers, there is a number of strategies that you can do. So when you go to Instagram, you click on the top right-hand corner where it says notifications. You can click on follows, and it will show you all the people that have followed you over the past 24 hours and as far back as you can physically go, right? And what I personally like to do is split this up into 2 strategies. Number 1, you can start to DM them and build a relationship, right? You don't necessarily have to get into business right away, because if you do, you can burn quality leads, right? You can just destroy a relationship and put people's barriers all the way up, right? Alternatively, just send them a message. Hey, thanks for the follow. Looking forward to connecting. Tell me more about yourself. Build a quick relationship. How was your day? What are you up to? I'm doing this. What are you up to right now? Right? And what you're going to notice, and what I've noticed when I've done this, is every time I've started to build a relationship in the DMs, they will check out my content. They will check out my stories. They will check out the link in my bio. And whether it's a few days from then, a few weeks from then, a few months, in some cases it's been over a year, right? They will almost definitely at some point inquire about my paid services or my offer, right? And again, this is why we show you how to optimize your Instagram profile in the best way possible, because what's the number one thing that you do when someone messages you? You go out there and check out their profile. And if their profile looks interesting, if it has a ton of results, if it has a ton of value, then naturally you're gonna wanna find out more, right? Which is why we help you position the main traffic hub, right? AKA your Instagram sales funnel in the way that we do, with the pin posts, with the story highlights, with everything, with an optimized bio, like we've covered below in the next lessons, right? And essentially, once you do that, you can pretty much, again, funnel them right back into a book call using the scripts that we provided below, have a conversion call with them, and start to acquire new clients using these 5 strategies. And that is an in-depth breakdown of how you want to use your Instagram profile, so that you no longer have to be that person that's just posting content, hoping that someone's going to click their link in the bio and possibly buy something, right? you now have a lot more clarity on what the purpose of each component of your Instagram profile is going to be useful, but more importantly, how you're going to take that traffic and convert into paid clients. You now are officially equipped with the perfect roadmap, right? And the good news is, the reason I wanted to break down this overview with you guys before you start going through the course modules is it's going to make a lot more sense to use now, right? So when we break down the story highlights, for example, or we break down the active DM traffic strategy, you now know why you're using these tools and how they're going to essentially help you get to your desired outcome, right? So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this training. Hope you got a lot of value from it, and I'll see you in the next one.